So, you've probably heard rumors about how Vice President Kamala Harris and her office are all dysfunctional. Well, if you haven't, you're about to find out now. Political news outlet Politico is reporting on the tension between Vice President Kamala Harris and her boss, President Joe Biden. Politico reports that the drama began before the inauguration of Joe Biden. It involved not just complicated issues like mass immigration at the Mexican border, but also included cover photos for Vogue magazine. According to a book by New York Times reporters Jonathan Martin and Alexander Burns, 2 weeks before the inauguration of Joe Biden, Kamala sent out aides to address an upcoming issue of Vogue. Apparently, a leaked cover photo which featured Kamala in Converse and skinny trousers got the incoming vice president worked up. Kamala had been expecting a different photo, one which would present her as a world leader, but Vogue had picked one that she felt made her look more like a sidekick, or just the help. Kamala felt hurt and belittled by Vogue, going as far as asking aides, would Vogue have depicted another world leader this way? Kamala got her press secretary, Simone Sanders, who is now an MSNBC anchor, to reach out to Vogue editor Anna Wintour. Simone Sanders conveyed Kamala's frustration to the editor. On hearing the complaint, Anna Wintour protested, according to the NYT reporters, saying, "I had chosen the picture personally because it made Kamala more relatable." Meanwhile, the vice president's incoming chief of staff, Tina Flournoy, was caught off guard by the anger and frustration coming from the Kamala circle. So, she contacted a senior member of the Biden campaign. However, the country at the time was going through multiple crises, including the January 6th riot at the Capitol. So, the Biden aide told Tina that this was not the time to be going to war with Vogue over trivial issues like choice of shoes or other aesthetic issues. It is also reported in the book by the NYT reporters that the vice president's aide Tina had said, "These are first world problems." All of this drama in the build-up to the inauguration were early signs that members of the Biden-Harris team were on very different pages and with very different priorities. Issues of race was thrown into the mix when Kamala's advisors believed that the president's predominantly inner white circle did not show the vice president the respect that she deserved. Martin and Burns report in their books saying Harris was worried that Biden's staff looked down on her. She fixated on real and perceived snubs in the way the West Wing found tedious. At one point, Kamala sent out her chief of staff, Tina Flournoy, to talk to top Biden aide, Anita Dunn. Tina conveyed her displeasure that White House staff were not standing up for Harris when she entered the room, the same way they did for the actual president. To Kamala, this was a sign of disrespect. When asked about the drama and the vice president's hurt feelings, Biden aide Anita Dunn told Politico, "I'm not going to comment except to say that everyone in the West Wing has a high degree of respect for the vice president and the hard work she's doing for the president and our country, particularly me." The book also documents the frustration over Kamala's policy portfolio. Her staff had floated the possibility of the vice president overseeing relationships with Nordic countries. This would have been a good way to help the vice president adjust to the international stage. It would have been an easier job as she would be in a more welcoming venue like Norway and Denmark. However, Biden aides rejected the idea and privately mocked it. Much more irritating to the Biden aides was when they learned that Kamala wanted to plan a major speech to talk about her views on foreign policy. The aides were so mad about it, they vetoed that idea too. Another tense standoff between Joe and Kamala arose with the issue of immigration and the Northern Triangle countries in Central America. The nations Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador had been in Biden's portfolio as vice president when he worked for Obama. However, considering the task had been handed to Kamala, during a surge of migration to the southern border, it was seen as politically undesirable by Harris aides. It would have left her with the label Border Czar, and she didn't want it to tarnish her reputation. On her trip to South America, she made this statement which didn't go down well with her potential voting base.
To folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border, do not come. The United States will continue to enforce our laws and secure our border.
More direct drama was observed at a meeting with the Congressional Black Caucus, telling the caucus that he had given her the important task of handling immigration and that she would do a hell of a job. Kamala swiftly corrected him, saying, "Excuse me, it's the Northern Triangle, not immigration." Biden aides aren't the only people complaining about Kamala and her ability to do her job. It's coming from all over the political spectrum. Here is conservative host of Breaking Point, Saga and Jetty's take.
Oh, this woman is a complete and total narcissist. Some of the stuff that is in here is just unbelievable. My personal favorite one within that, Crystal, is that she sent her top aide to the White House Deputy Chief of Staff to convey her displeasure that White House staff was not standing up in the room when Harris entered and took it as a sign of disrespect. Okay, let me tell you something. As a White House correspondent, I was in the room with Mike Pence on several of occasions, and nobody stood up for the guy because he's not the president. The standard is you stand up when the president enters the room in the White House.
Progressive host TYT's Anna Kasparian and Breaking Point's Crystal Ball had this to say.
To take a step back and not judge based on one moment, right? So if it was just one moment that looked bad and had bad optics, I would dismiss it. However, I don't know what happened to her. I mean, when she's in the context of cross-examining someone during a Senate hearing, she rocks it. But ever since she's been vice president, she's really struggled in terms of public speaking, getting her messaging right, awkward laughter when she's asked difficult questions. It's just not good. It's not a good look. She's really flailing, and I don't understand what's going on.
So sounds like she's got a real chip on her shoulder, and her staffers are sort of channeling that as well. And so the same sort of rhetoric that we hear applied to the American people of like any of her failings is not really her fault, it's the fault of the American people, they're too racist, they're too sexist. Apparently they think the same thing about the Biden White House staffers. The man who picked you and elevated you to be vice president, you think the same thing about those people as well.
Former Trump White House official Stephanie Grisham said this on ABC's The View when covering a segment on Kamala not being treated fairly.
I think that she has gone on multiple occasions a little bit underprepared with some of the questions that she's been asked. Lester Holt asked her a pretty basic question that she couldn't answer. So I don't know if it's a staff thing. She's not prepared enough. Perhaps she's not expecting the questions. I don't know what it is, but I think that's the issue. This is like the fourth or fifth time.
Host of The View's Sunny Hostin replied saying,
is that they constantly question the qualifications of black women, and that's why people are saying that she's unprepared. And
I disagree. I think she's
you can disagree, but that's the truth of it. And so this is based in racism, this is based in misogyny, and we're talking about a woman that has extensive experience abroad, extensive experience as an attorney, extensive experience as the chief legal officer of one of our largest states in the country. And I think this is just much ado about nothing. I mean, we didn't talk about Vice President Pence's, the right didn't talk about his handling of the COVID epidemic, which I think, or the AIDS epidemic, which I think led to, thousands and thousands of deaths. And what they're talking about is her laugh.
So, with everyone talking about Harris, what do you think the problem is? Have your say in the comments section. To support this channel, please like, share, and subscribe. See you soon.